Hey, Peter. Hey guys. It's hot here. There we go and go with that. That's the weather temperature report. It's hot. It's not cold at all. It's pretty muggy. There's a thunderstorm hovering around tonight. I think we'll get one. It's about 35 still, something like that. Anyway, I came home, had a shower and all that stuff, and sat down here at the computer and had a bit of a think about life and stuff. No, I did some jobs and stuff. So good effort. But scheduled this live stream, so here we are. Promised an animation video or some animation stuff on the front end of this plane, and then maybe some more parts. So we won't be too long tonight, but we'll try and get a bit done, I think. Anyway, that's how we are. I hope everyone's doing great. So onshape, we'll log in. It's worth subscribing to the onshape YouTube channel, the official one, because there's lots of updates, lots of cool stuff. A lot of it now is to do with paid subscription services and all the features that you have there. But there's still quite a lot of it. It's just basic how to do these jobs. I guess my audio is okay and you can actually hear me. Someone ought to do an audio check before we get too much further. I'm pretty hot and sweaty. Can you hear me, Peter? Oh my gosh. It's sleepy. If you're there, Peter, maybe you can hear me. Here's up. Peter hears just fine, so there we go. Anyway, we're logged in by onshape, and this is where we left off. Our file name is low angle block plane up here. If you look for that in the public documents, you'll probably find it. Have a bit of a play with it. We've got this knob screw in it now. That was something we did, and we already set up a slider so that this moves backwards and forwards. Peter's lag is bad on chat. Yeah, there's a thunderstorm hanging around. We might have to put up with that. This little doodad we made last week seems to be restrained there somewhere, and I'm not sure why. Just having a bit of a look here and see. put that up there, out of the way. So this pin goes in this little hole here. I don't know if you can see that. There's a hole there with a pin, and there's a pin. So that's a revolute mate, because it's going to move backwards and forwards around in a circle on that pin. So we need to mate them together. And up here we've got a revolute mate, which allows orientation on the center. We click that, and our mate connectors. We turn this around so we can see underneath it, and click on there, which is on the top surface of the pin, and click on the hole, which is where they will line up. And there we go. If we animate that as it is, it just goes around in a circle like that all the way. So we need some restraints on it, or limits. So we click the limit button, we get this. I have already done this, so I sort of know where I'm going with it, but I didn't write down any figures, so we're going to have to experiment a bit. 144 degrees. What I was messing around with. Not even close. I thought that was about 220. Probably was, but what we need to do is flip this over. Not like that, though. Reorientate secondary axis. That's what we need to do. We just approve that. And click on this and hide the front knob. And grab hold of that and drag it around to absolute matches there. And there, which is about the middle. That's not. So we're going to live with that. We can just adjust that as we go. Now, if we put that front back in, just by turning round one plane here onto here, so that that round plane follows that knob and moves the knob backwards. So up here, look, tangent mate. Face, edge, and vertex, which is probably, come on, do the thing. That one there. And the face, edge, and the vertex, which is this one here. To face the front knob. We'll turn off tangent property propagation. I'm not sure what tangent propagation does, but it doesn't do what it should do if we have it switched on. And we'll click OK. It may not work, or it may. It looks like it probably does. Now if we pull this one, random maximum, that moves it. That moves the mouth in out of sight. If we move it back around here, it pulls it out. If we have a look at the top, we'll zoom this in a bit so that we can see it. There's our mouth, there's the white line there on the top. And that closes it up right around there. And this one opens it up. So we can do that. Now, if we here, so we animate this one, just right click it and animate. Now the number of steps with the slower, we can change that to about 50 steps. And we put this on loop. No, we put it on reciprocate, I think. It's probably where it needs to be. And we click. Then that works, see? So that's quite good. Does what it's supposed to do. So that's that job done. And that knob follows the groove nicely as you move side to side and pulls the adjustable front in and out. So that's what we're doing now, are you? We're still messing with this wood plane that we've been doing for a little while. Just an exercise really, but it might be helpful to some people. So I'm sort of going to persevere with it and get it finished. But we've just animated the front lever so the mouth opens and closes when we slide. So that's what we got. It seems to behave quite well. So let's close that. Now we've got that hooked up. What's the next piece? We had that pin in there last time. We've got this screw in here and this knob. What we need is this little lever that goes in here. We need a screw and another side lever. And we need the blade, which sits on this surface here. And this surface here. Let's have a look and draw some up. So best way to do that blade in there, let's have a look at it. We'll go back to talking head view. The blade sits on this screw. We need this screw, which goes in that hole in the center. And then this lever here moves it side to side, the axial or radial positioner. There's this little lever here, which is flat with a bend in it at the top, so that it clears this screw. We need to draw this up, and we need to draw a screw up because we didn't have any luck finding a proper screw for it, but that's sort of a secondary thing. And then our blade looks like this. It's got a slot in the middle, and it's got some radially cut teeth. It's got a round back on it, and it's sharpened on the front with a bit of an angle. So there's not much to it. It sits over that bolt, and oh gosh, like so. I'm suspicious that this lever and this lever is bent, should have that gap under the middle of it. And it should actually clear this knob. So that might need some straightening out before next live stream. But that knob in the middle there that works on this radial lever, which is, oh gosh, where are we? It's this one here. That moves the blade from side to side. It locates, or that screw locks it down. And these teeth locate on this little sticky up notch here, which is part of this bracket in the back here. This bracket which slides up and down on this wheel. So we don't need to put that in yet. We don't need to put anything. What we need is to make up a blade. Let's have a look at it. We may have a ruler here somewhere. I probably went back downstairs. Anyway, it's about 40 mil long, 40 mil wide, and it's probably 110 mil long. It's probably 2 millimeters thick. It's got a, say, an 11 mil slot in it. That's 36 mil long. It's got some writing on the end there. I don't know if you can actually see that. But it says, and I'm going to have to take my glasses off, it says Stanley. Surprise, surprise. New Britain, Connecticut, USA is what that says. Whether we get that far, I don't know. But we're going to draw one of these up. These teeth in the back are radial, so we'll draw them in too. I still haven't put my vernier back together after it fell apart, so that's something that needs to be done. Anyway, let's have a look here. This is what we got. I don't think we need to sit the blade down on here. I think we can draw it as a separate piece. Let's create a new part studio. There we go, it's loaded it up. And that, of course, is called a default part studio 1 down here. Let's rename that. There we go. Blade. That'll do. So we'll draw it in the flat. It's a fairly straightforward thing, I think. It's probably easiest to draw, and there's two ways we could do it. We could draw it sideways and extrude it like this way, and put the curve on it afterwards, or we could draw it in the flat and put the point on it afterwards. It makes no difference, but I think we'll draw it in the flat. We'll find the top axis there. We'll put new sketching on the top plane. We click that. We've done that hundreds of times before. Sketch plane, we click top plane. We can click it up here too. That works. It's probably in the way there. Now, we want somewhere, so the best way to do that is to find a center point rectangle, I think. Pull this out. 110 high. So we've made a mistake here. Not a big deal, we can fix that. click on that measurement. 1, 1. Come on. Oh, it's about stuffed. You can hear the thunder? Yeah, it's going to rain. So 110 wide. We missed the 0 off the 40 as well, so we'll put that in. And that'll give us basic dimensions, really. Now, this radius on the back, it doesn't feel like it's a perfect curve around there. It could be, but it feels a lot more like it's about 16 millimeters to the... It's a little bit bigger curve. I think we make it 42, something like that, and only about 16 millimeters. So if we draw some construction lines, draw one on, it's been threatening all day and it's very muggy. We can automatically click to that line there. See, it's finding that line there's parallel. And it's that pointer on the line. It's, and the little square gives us the centre, so we know that that's the intersection. If both those lines are lined up, that's the intersection. Can start there. Let's come down here about 24 mil. And put a radius on here. Centre point arc. Move that out there. Looks a bit big. Let's go 22. Let's mark everything up. It says the sketch can't be solved, so why can't it be solved? Let's work this out. That one there, I think. We delete that. We need to go through and see, it did some strange things. Control C, it's our friend there. We'll change that first to 22 millimeters. And then we'll put a centre point arc through here from there. See how that looks. Still looks a fraction big. That, let's go back to 20. It's 40 mil wide. Go back to 21. And try again. I'm not sure if this is really something that's important, but that looks better. We'll just mirror that half the line. We use this as a mirror. It says select mirror line, so we'll select that one, and that'll turn yellow if it's the mirror line. We can just mirror that one across there like that. Press escape, say we've finished. And we can click N or trim up here. And that gives us something like it should be. I think that's pretty close to what the size is, the shape is. Now, we'll put the slot for it next. 11 by 30 something we said. 11 by 30. Come on, who was listening? I'll have to measure it again. 11 by 36. 36, take 11 is 25, so 25 mil centres on the ends. And we'll work from that, from the curved end, I think. And it appears to be about 50 millimetres. All of that. So it's 50 millimetres down from this end to the middle of the centre of the first radius. Let's do that. Q for a construction line. I'll put this down here to 50 millimetres. And then down here again, 25 millimetres, the centre of the other one. So those 2 points, that point and that point, should be, if we do this correctly, the centres of our slots. Put a circle in there, 11 millimetres. Several ways we can do this. Press enter. Set. My keyboard's nearly dead. Next week we'll have some improvements on that. Here comes our storm. To lose power, it's because we've had a whole lot of rain. Might put another construction line in here. Out to the edge of there, which automatically puts in 5.5 millimetres. We'll draw a line from there. To there. Mirror that one. Using that as a mirror line. Click that one again. And trim the ends. We've lost this bit here. Let's control Z, that one. There we go, it's back. It's getting a bit rough out there. We may have to call this in a minute. So there's our basic blade shape. It's 2 millimetres thick to do that. I'm hoping to hear it's a tail. That's what that is. There you go. I wonder what the proposed shafting angle as I move. I'm going to say it's about 20 degrees on this corner here. If we put a sketch here like this, probably the easiest way is just to draw a line here. Sketch plane on the right plane. And we use the projector, the use button. And we'll use this line here as part of our sketch. Now, because we've done that, that will be part of our sketch. If we turn off part one, see, we've got that as part of the sketch. From that point, we'll go through here to something like that. And we'll put a dimension on that so that we get somewhere in the right angle of what we think is a good thing. $22 degrees. It's called 21, just for a guess. Shoots and giggles. I really hope that we don't get a thunderstorm, but we probably, everyone else has had one. We've already had one. We just draw a line around there, so we've got a box. That'll turn grey, which means that it's been basically the box has all been approved as being an enclosed area. And we can use the extrude button. And lines will go through all. Like so. And let's try and add it in. But if we go remove, that'll put a face on it. So, looking all right. On the underside of these grooves, there's 2, 4, 6, 8, 10 of them. The closest one, oh gosh, we probably should measure them. I'm going to take my glasses off because I can't see a thing. Closest one's about 1 millimetre from the hole, about 2 millimetres wide, and 16 millimetres across. And it's probably about 1.2, is that right? Probably 1.6 deep, so let's say that, 1.5 deep. It's the calm before the storm. So on the underside here, we've got some features. Best way to do this is to draw the shape and then check the first one up, I think. So what we're going to do is put a sketch on this plane, which is the front plane. We press N for normal. That should bring us our normal plane. It doesn't though. It brings us around normal for that. Click on this one, or bring us normal to the front. And doing the other. And if we put there's a feature here, it's a midpoint line. We might use that. Call that a construction line. Press Q. And we'll put a line out there. It needs to be 16 millimeters long. I think it's going to rain. Not happy. It's leak out, isn't it? We draw another construction line up here. 1.5. What we need to do is find the radius of those 3 points. So on a 3-point arc, pick those 2 points, and then that point gives us a radius of 22 millimeters roughly. If we delete this backspace this line, we put a dimension on here of 22 millimeters. We'll slightly change it, but it'll make it much easier to measure. We can unclick that, or we can just press escape and get rid of all the things that we've. Click on this line and press construction or Q. That gives us a construction line. And we draw a circle on this point here. Come on. This point here is 44 mil diameter. There we go. If we extrude that as a new piece, um, 2 millimeters wide, and call it a new piece, and I'll automatically put that in as a different color, almost. But it won't put it in the right spot, it's just in the center line there. I can't see anything, guys. Sorry. New glasses this week, I think. Anyway, it's 45 millimeters from the top. That's 110 millimeters long, and 45 millimeters from the top is 10 millimeters from the center. So we can use this, which is a starting offset. If we click that box, default it moves it on my way. I've got it set 25 millimeters, but if we put 10 millimeters in here, it's actually negative 10 millimeters. So 10 millimeters. Yeah, click this little arrow to reverse it, opposite direction it says. And that's not quite right, is it? Wasn't a very good effort, but we can change it. 12.5 appears to be the centre of the hole. Without working that out, we've just messed around until we found that. And then probably another millimetre, so 13.5. Looks like a good place to start. There we go. And we can, the quick snake screen button, I can never think of it, but we've got two parts. We've got that disc in there. And we need seriously, come on. 10 of them. They're probably 3.2 centimeters, something like that. So up here, what we're looking for is, oh my gosh, on this one, I think, linear pattern. Now, entities pattern, if we click that, I click remove and direction, which is this way. Instance count is 10. And 1.2 is that right? No. There we go. The merge scope is this one. Drag this over here. We can just drag that over. And what do we got? That looks about right to me. So we've removed them. We've got nothing. The 3.2 millimeters apart. And merge scope is part 1, which is our blade. We haven't got it yet. We can click this skip instances. We can skip one if we want it. So we can cancel that one out and leave that one out. That looks better, but it doesn't. So we'll clear that. Uncheck that box. Press the green tick. And there we go. So that's the blade. There's some writing on the back. Probably we could do that. Yeah, too many problems. I think we could go. I don't know if we're going to put the location and all that stuff there, but easily put a sketch on here on the actual face of the extrude. So this is face of 1. I haven't renamed any of these down here, which is a bit slack, but you get that. Up here there's a text tool. Should still remember what we used last time. Let's drag this out here. STANLEY. And it's way too big, so we'll put some dimensions on it. About 3 mil. That looks better. And we'll just drain the centre here of this line. Just press O for a dimension. Should move that nicely in the centre. And we can put another line here. We can just trace to this point. So, what's 12 look like? A bit low, probably. 9. That's all right. And we click extrude. That stretches them out there. We want to go the opposite way. We want to remove it. If we do that, it puts a hole right through. You can see they like that. We don't want that. 0.05 millimetre. Is that too deep still? Probably not. From part 1, click that. We'll zoom in to have a bit of a look at that. But here we go. That'll do. Just a few last minute things. We can edit the appearance. What colour it wants to be. Make it as blue steel. Got a pleasant colour. Let's call it that. We'll put that in assembly, and that might nearly call it for the day. We'll load the assembly. Of course, we won't be able to find it, so we'll go back to the blade before we do anything. Where it says part 1 here, we'll right click that and we'll click rename. I'll call that blade. Then if we go to our assembly, we can go insert. There's a picture, of course, but it says blade. Don't want it right on there, so we'll insert it in there. This at this point needs to slide backwards and forwards on this plane. It needs to basically be a planar mate. So it's got to sit on here, but it's got to be adjustable this way and swivel around. Parallel mate's probably what we need, I'm guessing. Mate connector is going to be the center of this one. And it's picked that up beautifully. And what we got? Center of that blade. Now that doesn't work because the limits all over the show. We could change the limits. We might not do that until we set up the adjustment, but we can slide this up here. In fact, that's right. It's doing some crazy things. It's moving that way. Wrong. Let's delete that and start again. Remarkably good internet for the amount of activity going around out there. So I was right the first time. What we need is a planar mate. First make a spot and the same spot. There we go. It all works. But you can slide it side to side and round and around, all that sort of things. Probably not what we really want, but put it somewhere where it needs to be, sort of. Try. It's going to rain. Something like that. Here we go. Looking at that, it's about the right width. It's going to be some interesting animation to make this work. I don't know if anyone noticed that, but I think that's how it's going to be. So there we go. We've got to put that little lever in there so that knob moves it backwards and forwards. And we've got to have a tangent mate to follow the circle so that on the round part of the knob, so that when you move that side to side, that works well. And yeah. Anyway, starting to look something like that. Looks like how it should be, I think. There's 1,000 things we could do still. We can sit down and we can make this screw to go in here. Sometimes you think you're bitten off more than you can chew, but we can make it all work. This, of course, sits nicely down on here, so that's a good test. It sits nicely down on this surface here. There should be a gap under this screw, the thickness of that lever. So that looks like it works as well. So the next thing really is to put that lever. One of those levers, either that one that winds it backwards and forwards there, or that one there that moves laterally. I don't know. Anyway, I'm just wiggling that around. Anyway, that's what we've done. I don't like the light blue. We can come back there and change that without any problems at all. Right click on there. So it's edit appearance. We can go do something like that, maybe. Let's go with that one. And this surface here, so what we can do, so right click on that, we can add appearance to that face. Anyway, I think we're losing this. I think it's kind of running too much for me to get any more action out of this. There we go. You probably can't hear me. I can't hear myself. I'm going to call this folks down. These people doing the thing. We've got now, we've got some parts made, and we've got the front end animated. We're getting there very slowly. There's not that many bits to go. There's this piece. There's this lever here. There's this lever in here. There's this screw. And there's this little piece inside the cap on. This cap on is going to get the final job, but this is really interesting how it works in here. It's a bit challenge, it's spherical. And it's got a nice texture on the inside. And the keyhole with a nice arousal gauge piece. And you've got some paper around here as well. And it's got some round lighting on this. So good work on that. It's 2 litres really the next it's animating it all up, making it all fit together properly. And the cap on. So we're getting closer. Thanks guys, I'm going to call this. Don't think you can probably hear me, I don't know. But much appreciated and keep kind to each other. I'm out.